And they're being really good. These girls, you know, they've got all got jobs to do, and they're doing their jobs in the hive, and some of them are out collecting nectar and pollen. Some are tending to the new brood, they call it, that's in there. They're feeding the eggs that have uh, hatched out and are now larvae. And boy, this one's heavy. I had someone ask me last week if I get stung on that video, and I didn't. Um, Usually if I get stung, it's because I deserved it, because I'm pinching or squeezing a bee with my hand, and that causes that to happen. But on this frame here, we can see lots of capped brood in the center there, and the cells that are opened and don't have nectar in them or pollen have larvae. And so that's a good frame of brood. And we also have brood on this side as well. And I don't know if it shows up. I'll try to get this in different light sources, but the white, if you can see the white down in the bottom of those cells, that is the larva. That's the egg after it hatches. That's what they feed. And then after it's about, oh, I can't remember, 8 to 10 days old, they cap it over, and then on day 21 or 22 they emerge out as new. These would be worker bees, and continue to help in the hive. And which is very good. They work this hive, keeping it strong for the queen. And it's the nurse bees that actually tend to the queen and make sure she's cleaned all the time, and she's fed all the time too, royal jelly. And then when they decide that the hive is too full for any more of them, that's when they put in the swarm cells, and they start working the queen, actually have her stop laying, and then she will eventually get trimmed down. They put her on a diet, basically, and exercise program, and then she goes out, and half to 75% of the colony will go with her. Now here's another good frame that she's worked on. It's got brood on this side and also on this side, which is good. And I'm gonna take a look down and see. Looks like this next frame we may be getting into our honey stores, which they usually keep those towards the outside. And we're hoping that they really get some good stores on this, because this is what sustains them through the winter. The bee life from the day they hatch in the summertime is about 42 days. They are in the hive for a couple weeks, tending to the hive, and then they go out and they start foraging and bringing in food and pollen and nectar that gets turned into honey, and the pollen gets turned with some honey to bee bread, and the bee bread is what they use to feed the new larvae. They take that in their mouths and turn it into royal jelly. This is another heavy frame, but I think it could have some brood on it too, because it's not that heavy. And it does. This one's loaded up with brood, larvae. This is cap brood, which is when the larva goes into a pupa state, kind of like a butterfly. And I was just going to take a look, because this is probably some of our older capped brood, and trying to see if, and she's got eggs on this side too, so she's been across all these frames here. She's just She's just going to town here. What a good girl. Just seeing if we had any emerging. I'm thinking that I don't see any this week, but I'm guessing that next week we will definitely have emerging brood in this colony, which means it will start growing that day. They say that a full frame of brood will equate to about 3 frames of bees. So when we start getting the emerging bees coming, get out of there, girl, run. When we get the emerging frames of bees, we will start getting more bee coverage. Right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 frames of bees. So hopefully here in the next week we will grow to possibly 10 frames of bees. Now this one's very heavy, so I'm guessing it is the feed frame. Be careful not to squash anybody down there so I can get a better grip. This one is a feed frame. It is the capped honey, and if you see all these colors here, that is pollen that's packed in there, and the glistening of it, that is they pack that in and with a little bit of nectar, and that is what turns into the bee bread, which actually ferments, and that's what they feed to the babies. And this one, or to the larvae, this one is fully capped and nectar. So these girls have plenty of stores. I don't think I need to, probably, I'm going to feed them syrup just because I want them to continue to build comb in here, because I have frames that need being built on, and with that those bees in here will through their wax glands, it's in between their on the back abdomen here, there's sections there, and the wax actually comes out in what they call like shingles. And watch out, girls, come on now, gotta close you up here. Come on. Watch out, Missy. Sometimes they just don't get the idea here. What we're going to do is scrape this outside wall because we don't need squish bees. Don't need to squish you, Missy. Don't need to squish you. You don't like that. Oh, that one's going to be a bottom piece. Bottom picture. Whoops. Poor girls, they say, we've got nectar in there, let us keep it. Oh, you girls are looking good. This queen is doing really well. The one in the observation hive is doing really well. So rather than bore you with me putting this back together, I want to thank you for joining me today on Papa's Honey Acres. Hope your day is going well, and until next time, have a blessed day, and Lord willing, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.